I'm going to support whoever the Republican nominee is. And
you win by giving people the opportunity to see a different vision for our country, not someone who's just going to be a little different than the person in there. If they're going to be a little different, we might as well stay with what we have instead of taking a risk of what may be the etch-a-sketch candidate.
We want someone who can win, someone who can go up against Barack Obama and actually draw a contrast.
Congressman Paul, what's your solution to the budget crisis?
Quit spending money. Across the board.
And there have been some Republican plans. Mr. President, what's your response?
Well, you know, the budget cuts proposed on your side of the aisle, they bankrupt America's future. Now we're talking about a 70% cut to clean energy, 25% cut in education, and cuts in the college Pell Grants. Now, these are the kinds of cuts that tell us we can't afford the America that we believe in.
That is for sure. We can't afford government spending money on these things because the government is flat out broke and they bankrupted our country. So if we had less government and let the people produce, we're not producers anymore. Productive jobs have gone overseas and all we have is debt. And then to argue that we need more money for Pell Grants, well, we don't have any money. There's no more people to steal it from and you just can't keep printing the money. So sure, it's a great idea to have Pell Grants and all these wonderful things, but the real truth is that you have less of it if you depend on the government to do it, and you should depend on free people taking care of themselves, and you would see so much more prosperity, so much better education, so much better training.
Where Governor Romney's just been dead wrong on those issues for years and years and years, and it would be probably the worst candidate for us to nominate to go after Barack Obama.
If you want a conservative as the nominee of this party, you must vote for Mitt Romney.
I said I'd repeal No Child Left Behind. He says he won't repeal No Child Left Behind.
Yeah,
He is not a conservative. That's funny. If there's anybody who's compromised his print, Mitt Romney, is supported a government-run healthcare system. Mitt Romney, is someone who ran as a pro-choice, gay rights supporting governor of Massachusetts.
When I ran for governor, one of the big issues was marriage, gay marriage. My opponent said she'd sign a bill in favor of gay marriage. I said I would not, that I oppose same-sex marriage.
Mitt Romney is hitting his stride. Yeah! Mitt Romney, he is speaking with clarity. I predict without question, Mitt Romney, when he wins Missouri, without question, he will be the nominee of the Republican Party. Yeah. Mitt?
Thank
you. Thank you, Senator.
I do want to put a map up on the screen, kind of showing the breakdown of the states as of now and who's won them. This map that we're showing, Ron Paul is in the red there, and 11 states have gone to him. Romney is in the blue, and then, of course, Santorum and Gingrich no longer in the race. They've only got a few states each anyways. So when you take a look at a map like this, you got to ask, is this contest really totally over, as a lot of people are saying?
No, it's absolutely not still over. They're a clear signal that despite, the establishment's control of the mainstream media.
Well, switching gears, a major announcement by Fox Business Network. They are dropping 3 of their primetime shows, including the show Freedom Watch, hosted by Judge Napolitano. Freedom Watch was one of the top-rated shows on Fox Business Channel, and so far there hasn't really been a reason given for the cancellation. And according to a Fox press release, Freedom Watch will be replaced by re-airings of shows run earlier in the day. But first, let's take a look at a few clips of Judge Napolitano that will give you a peek of his show and his viewpoints.
In what he has done and in what he will become, the Thomas Jefferson of our day, Ron Paul, is one of us.
Do Republicans know what they really want in a nominee? The issue remaining for Republicans is a simple one. Who best embodies the values of free enterprise, small government, fidelity to the Constitution, sound money, and not becoming the world's police? The reason these values are so important is the historical truism that these values have made America the freest and the most prosperous country the world has ever known. The driving principle of the Declaration of Independence is the right of every person to the pursuit of happiness. And the founders who signed the Declaration and fought a war against the world's mightiest empire for the right to live the values of the Declaration fully understood that happiness can best be pursued when the government gets out of the way. No one can be happy without personal freedom. In the post-World War II era and until the presidency of George W. Bush, Republicans preached to these freedom-generated values, but they haven't governed under these values. Eisenhower, Nixon, even Reagan, and of course both Bushes added materially to the government's debt, raised taxes, increased regulations, and expanded the size of the government. They not only expanded government size, they borrowed heavily from the Federal Reserve in order to do so, and they materially changed the role of the federal government in our lives. They all fought undeclared wars, sent federal agents into people's homes without search warrants, signed laws regulating what you can do in your own house, and relished giving away your cash. Mitt Romney and Barack Obama share these big government values. Mitt Romney and Barack Obama reject your right to pursue your happiness. They reject the concept of that government is best which governs least. They reject the idea that we are entitled to a government that stays within the confines of the Constitution. They both believe that the government can do whatever it can get away with. They both believe that government can stimulate the economy, whether it lends money to Solyndra, President Obama's boondoggle, or forgives the debt of Bain Capital, the company that still pays Mitt Romney. They both believe that the president's job is to run the economy and to tell you how to live. And on top of all of this, they both favor a large role for government in the delivery of health care. Now, you've heard me make this argument before. The government can't run Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, Amtrak, or the post office without driving them into bankruptcy. So who in his right mind would entrust the delivery of health care to the government? Well, Mitt Romney and Barack Obama. That's who. All this leaves us with some profound questions. Why would Republicans want to replace President Obama with someone who essentially agrees with him? If there is one issue that unites nearly all Republicans in opposition to the president, it is Obamacare. So why nominate a Republican who pushed his own version of Obamacare in Massachusetts, of all places? If Governor Romney is the Republican nominee, opposition to Obamacare is effectively off the table. The president's military advisors think that debt is the most serious threat to our national safety. So why should the Republicans nominate someone who believes the government should finance itself through more borrowing? America, this election may be the last hope of replacing the most authoritarian president since FDR with someone who will actually shrink the government. And the Republican establishment wants to replace him with his mirror image. What shall we do? Enter Ron Paul.
All right, so not your typical Fox News principles here. Judge Napolitano talks about Occupy Wall Street, the National Defense Authorization Act. He's been consistently pro-Ron Paul and anti-war.
You call Cato and check it out.
Okay,
Don't
Mark.
laugh, Mitt. You're laughing at Ron Paul, too, and you know he's right.
I sure am laughing at Ron Paul. I got to tell you, anybody who says we got to get rid of the CIA and the FBI and that the reason that we're attacked by jihadists is because of us is a guy who deserves a little bit of humor to come his way.
Keep laughing. Thanks,
All right.
Mitt. Talk to you later.
Thanks.
All right. Right there, he just lost my vote, Dan. He just lost my vote. He quoted Ron Paul out of school. He's chuckling about it. It's not funny. It is absolutely not funny. I got 4,000 dead soldiers, American soldiers, because of Iraq, which was ill-conceived. The premise was wrong. They lied. I got 4,000 dead soldiers. I got over 20,000 injured coming back. I got $1 trillion blown on that debacle, and he's laughing about it. Folks, they're going to have an income tax until you croak. I love rich people, because rich people turn the wheels, and they're the ones that provide the jobs. But there's a guy, an elitist screwball right there, who has his millions, who could care less if the tax rate went to 40%. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. And he's laughing at Ron Paul again this morning. Well, he wants to get rid of the CIA. Hell yes, get rid of the CIA. What does the CIA do? They go out and do cloak and dagger crap ahead of the military and lay the groundwork, so roll it into the military. Get rid of another ABC agency. And, you know, this nervous chuckling and mocking of a guy who speaks the truth, the man who told you the truth more than any other in those debates, who wasn't afraid to make enemies and tell the truth, was Ron Paul. And they laughed at him. Well, he deserves to be laughed at. No, Mitt Romney, you deserve to be laughed at. And you know what? After hearing him chuckle like that, I'm going straight to that voting booth this morning, and I'm going to vote for Ron Paul.